Good evening, sim racing fans, and we welcome you back to the virtual Five Flag Speedway again tonight for the third time and the tail end of our back-to-back-to-back triple feature for Day 5 of the Sim Auto Racing Association Fall Brawl. Feature Race 3 getting set to roll underway as the Super Trucks take to the track for the D&D Amusement Games 1 at 50. D&D Amusement Games providing entertainment solutions to all types of businesses, including pool tables, pinball machines, foosball tables, dartboards, and much more. You can search them out at ddamusement.com for more information. So we welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth. Evan Pasoko, Rachel Whiteford, and Cisco Scaramuza with you up in the booth. Gabriel Wood down on the pit lane. And Rachel, to you first. These are trucks, and they're at Five Flags. That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And the trucks are actually amazing around this racetrack, Evan. You'd be okay to think that maybe they're too big for this or too fast for it, but honestly, they're a great match. I've driven the trucks around this track in the past and raced them here. You get some great action, you get great racing. They can certainly move people out of the way. Tire drop-off's actually quite a big thing here in the trucks, so expect to see people pushing up the track and getting passes down the inside, so expect some good, exciting racing here, but be very prepared to be putting loose off turn 4, spinning across the racetrack and causing incidents coming out onto the front straight. That'll be one to watch out for.
And as we've seen in our two races so far tonight, Cisco, same tire rules in effect. So the driver starting with 4 Goodyear Wranglers, they have 4 additional tires down in their pit box. However, the winners in most of these races have not taken them. It was more of a factor in our street stock race, most recent, than what we saw in the SKs earlier. That is still in effect, but we saw these guys just a couple of minutes ago wrapping up that street stock race. I mean, they were really starting to pinch each other down. These trucks equally as racy, but again, they're just so much bigger.
Yeah, and as much as they're bigger, they're even more powerful than anything else we've seen run on the race outside of maybe the SLMs. I'll have to double check that. But what's going to be interesting here is one of the things we're seeing both generations of the truck out there tonight. We're seeing both the new 2015 trucks as well as the old 2013 Silverados out there too. So it looks like it's going to be a case of who's going to have the best setup, and I don't know if there's going to be an advantage one over the other. It should be interesting to see.
I just actually want to jump in there, Evan, actually answer that question. There is no difference in a track like this between the two different truck types. The only place it would make a factor would be the likes of Auto Club or Michigan, the super speedways like Daytona and Talladega. The aero package on the two different vehicles is different, so that plays a factor. But when you come to a short track, they are absolutely identical. You can put a setup from the 2015 truck on the 2013 and vice versa. So, for all intents and purposes, it's like we've got a Chevy, a Toyota, and a Ford here. The old Silverado is just a different shape, but it's going to handle exactly the same way and behave the same way, so that this should really not be a major factor tonight.
And that claim validated because David Krikorian is in the old truck, the old Chevy Silverado. He is the fastest driver at the moment. In our practice session, added Marcus Lambert, Ryan Borges, James Linkowitz, and Andrew Fayash throughout the top 5 are all in the new Chevrolet Silverado. So they're going to be evenly matched tonight as we head into, again, the third feature race on the evening. Same rules and all of that good stuff apply, Gabriel. 150 laps in these trucks. And on the pit lane tonight, there's a lot more sheet metal to get torn up than what we've seen so far tonight. I think that these guys might like to get physical, and there will be a whole lot going on the pit lane in that regard. But as well, the tire strategy, as always, can be a factor in these SARA races.
Oh yeah, I'm looking down here in the pit boxes, and I see baseball bats, I see hammers, I see sledgehammers. It's going to get crazy tonight if any of these guys get damaged, and it's a given. But yeah, the tire strategy, it's going to be very interesting. A lot of these guys are going to choose to pit after halfway. The question is, what do they take? And is it going to be 2 tires twice or 4 tires? Or they just not pit at all? Which, I mean, that's not the best strategy, but hey, if it works for them, it works for them.
2 races so far, 2 very different strategies that has gone on to win them. One of them a driver coming from 5th, the other one from the pole, but inside of the top 5 in both. Drivers from outside the top 20. You can win or be competitive in this race from anywhere, and as the final 20-minute warm-up session draws to a close, we take a look at the LSRTV starting grid for the D&D Amusement Games Fall Brawl 150. Kevin Burge, 9th place in the time trials and went on on Wednesday evening. To win the Super Truck qualifying pole position through the time trial qualifying dash, it will be Burge on pole position with a 16.688 as his best time so far today. Matt Bontempi, first name we've seen him tonight on Saturday night. The 20 car will start alongside in second. Derek Robinson slated for a third place start. Ty Spearman in fourth, and David Krikorian to round out your top 5.
6th rolling out is going to be Andrew Fayesh, the third. He's going to roll out 6th. Davey Ridnow is going to roll out 7th. Matt Rolfe going to roll out 8th. Marcus Lambert going to roll off 9th. And Ian Lane going to roll off 10th.
The 11 tonight will be Dale Owen. Alongside him will be Hunter Combs. Behind them, it will be Russell Berry and Taff Baldwin. Running out P15, Stephen Burnett.
Continuing on down through the grid, the number 50, Jeff Hogard with the Ghostbusters paint scheme on this Halloween night will start in 16th position, 17th for the number 87 for Patrick Kahi. Ryan Borges marred back at 18th, 19th is Kyle Holtzhausen and Anthony Mahone in 20th.
21st going to be Anthony Celentano, and 22nd going to be James Linkowitz. That's going to do it for all the cars who took practice time, or actually who I have down here as qualifying time. Meanwhile, starting without a time recorded, 23rd going to be Ty Majeski, and 24th, no, actually that's going to round it out there. Ty Majeski, I believe, going to be your last starter here, shotgun on the field.
Update from Race Control, Evan. We found out that Russell Berry and Anthony Mahoney will be both starting from the back for pre-race penalty applications, so those two cars going to the rear of the field.
They get an EOL penalty as well with Anthony Celentano. So 3 drivers to the back. Cody Thompson, another driver not on the qualifying speeds. He'll also join the back of the field behind Ty Majeski. So that shuffles up the running order quite a little bit. It's time to get the third and final feature race on the night underway. And we're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. The pace car goes out of the way. Burge in control. It's going to be the Miller High Life Chevrolet. Green flag in the air. The D&D Amusement Games Fall Brawl 150 is underway. We go. Top 3 on the bottom, all single file. Inside, by far and large, the place to be. Bontempi swarmed, already back to 5th. By the time he hits turn 3, trouble though behind them.
It looks like that's brought out by Cody Thompson, the number 2 truck. Looks like he just went into turn 1 and just lost the back end. Wasn't able to save it. Tried to, but not able to do it. So it's going to be start of a long night for Cody Thompson as we take a look at the LSR replay.
Thompson was back. He was not in that group of trucks and just went into the corner and lost it, Rachel.
Yeah, he did, and that's something you'll find that happens here. It's kind of easy to get the car set up, the truck set up, sorry, that it turns in well, but at the same time, you're going to have some balance on the back end. You are braking here. Some drivers perhaps have a little bit too far rearward brake bias, so it's sending that truck around. You've got to remember this track is changing, and it's had time in it from warm-up, of course, and that will definitely change the temperature. So we've got to build up a rubber temperature. That's gone. So just got rubber. It's quite a cold track, so it's very different to what they're used to practicing on and qualifying on. So it's going to catch a few drivers early on.
Qualifying back on Tuesday for the Super Truck feature was in the day. It was under the hot Pensacola sun and now under the lights with 30% track usage rubber on that carried over from the 20-minute warm-up session. The track conditions are very much so different than what these guys have been used to for the majority of the entire racing week. So that'll bump Cody Thompson down to 24th position. It's exactly where he started, so he doesn't lose any ground with the exception to Celentano, Berry, and Mahone, the 3 drivers that were assessed end of the longest line penalties before the race began tonight. He'll find himself again right back on the outside of row 12, shotgun on the field for this restart. There's a lot of names that we've seen up front and running very strong tonight in the middle of the field as well. Guys like David Riendo, another name in there, Matt Rolfe, the number 51, Patrick Kahi, Holtzhausen's, Borges, a lot of talent. Ty Majeski, can't forget him in that equation, back all the way through 19th position. It'll be interesting in these first 50 laps to see where they kind of find themselves in once everybody gets maybe some green flag laps in and they kind of spread out and find their spot in line.
You know, Evan, the one thing I've noticed, in the first 2 races we saw James, I don't know why I just blanked on his name, but James in the 7 truck, we saw him up front, like, during the beginning, like, in the other 2 races we had. This time, he's all the way in the back there. So we'll have to see if that 7 truck can get all the way back up towards the front end of the field there.
It is a Halloween paint scheme on that number 7 of the Smoky Mountain number 7 Chevrolet of James Linkowitz back there in 20th position. We get set to go back at it. The trick-or-treating on the East Coast well and underway. On the West Coast, things just starting to get kicked off. These drivers got one more race in it for tonight's event. Did both races so far, and including tonight, a caution flag in the opening 5 laps to slow us down for the first time. Your race leader is going to be the number 99 of Kevin Bursch. He elects to take the inside lane for the restart as the base car dives down to the way. Control car is already on the loud pedal. Green flag flies. Our fourth American Ethanol restart on the evening down to turn 1. This time the outside fares a lot better. Derek Robinson from second spot trying to fight for P2.
And it looked like the, I'm going to check, that's the 787.
Kyle Holzhausen.
Yep, he looks like he either got turned around or maybe just lost it there. Maybe if we can get a replay look at that.
It was
I'm going
number
to take
32,
a look right now.
I'm just going to let you know. Yeah, Ryan Borg just got to the back of him. We have a caution on the racetrack.
So contact on the opening lap off of the restart, and now more problems. Going to bring the pace car back out onto the racetrack after contact in the field. This time the 2 machine. Again, it's Cody Thompson on the front straightaway. Second time tonight that the driver of the lane entry has had a self-spin. It's cost 2 yellows so far.
Yeah, I don't know really. Maybe something's wrong in the setup, or maybe they got the wedge wrong. Not really sure, but that's not going to be great right now for that number 2 truck.
Yeah, he's clearly managed to do something wrong with the car, and they're going to have to make an adjustment and come down pit road, even if they don't take tyres. I think he needs to take some wedge out, possibly shift up brake bars. He could do that in the car, so you might want to do that. He could also drop his tape, which will stop the front turning in a bit too much, so it's important for him to get the balance right. He needs to do that early, because if he's spun twice so far, and we've essentially had 2 to 3 green flag laps, 2 spins in that time frame, he has a problem. That truck needs to come down pit road.
And he's at the back of the pack right now. Still plenty of time to work on that, and those 2 yellows will bridge us through the opening 10 laps of the race. We tuned in to begin our coverage of the SARA Fall Brawl on Thursday with SLM qualifying. Truck qualifying, though, took place on Tuesday with David Krikorian putting down the fastest lap in the time trials, is 16.570. And much like we've seen tonight, about 7 or 8 tenths faster tonight under the lights. So that gave him the top spot. However, with the top 10 inversion, as we mentioned and as you saw, Kevin Burge was able to start from second after getting 9th in time trials. Won the qualifying dash race, started from pole here in this event. So that's where he finds himself up front. Dale Owen, one of the drivers, tried to make some moves early. The number 29 machine up a couple of spots. Stephen Burnett up 4 spots. The number 54 machine mid-pack. But again, it is so difficult to get people going around each other, not only because, again, it's a short track. Not a surprise that right now all the guys up front, for the most part, started on the inside lane. The inside we know is going to have an advantage on the evening, but as Rachel, you said, when you get a caution, 2 cautions with about 3 laps of green flag racing equated into that, then it's going to be very difficult for guys to make some moves.
It is indeed, and this track is also always very difficult to make a move on, just by the nature of the track. So you really got to try and find a rhythm. You got to get people moving first, and that's important. So things need to single file out before you start making moves around here. People can hang around the outside, but it's going to make people tight, and people run in too far. So people need to be a bit patient. Just let things go for a bit. Let a gap form. It won't matter if you can save your tires here. People will come back to you. The truck is very powerful, and it does spin its tires here. So you'll find by being gentle, being patient, you will have an advantage. So they might get away. They'll come back. Pace car in this time.
To make that sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of pit lane, Kevin Burge sticks with his strategy of starting on the inside, and he'll stick with getting on the gas right away. Green flag back in the air as lap 14 begins, and down to turns 1 and 2. The 92, a Spearman pushes up a little bit. Krikorian takes a wide arc into turns number 1, and it'll be a side-by-side fight for second. Down the back straightaway we go. The 8 car waiting in the wings. Derek Robinson trying to follow the 92 through. Just behind him, it's David Riendo, and like we've seen all night long, outside not the place to be. Here comes the freight train.
Yeah, absolutely, but someone hanging tough on that outside right now is David Krikorian in the 66. He's been able to hold on, and just as I say that, commentator's curse comes into play. Ty Spearman able to get by, so it's going to be 2 posse trucks. Oh, it looks like
the 8
there
truck's
goes
spinning.
the 8.
Oh, he saves it. No, caution flag will fly. He hangs onto the truck. The yellow, though, is thrown from the sim. It's a pretty good credential, I guess, if he saves
Evan,
it.
sorry, no, that isn't actually for him. He spun low and saved it. We had a later incident involving the number 84 car of Russell Berry, which actually brought out the caution flag.
And Barry well back in the pack on that accident. And, everybody checks up trying to avoid that. The 84 machine, they all pretty much came to a complete stop to try to avoid getting into him. 84 just overdrove it into the corner, went way high, locked it up, and spun it out. That was a tactic that we saw a couple of guys use, Cisco, to not get involved in some of the earlier accidents. As you take a look at the replay now, just lock it up, spin it out, don't hit anything. This time, though, it causes a caution flag for the 84. Second in a row, or rather third in a row even, for the single truck incidents.
Yeah, I think what might have caused a little bit of that is definitely going to be the brake bias. Rachel spoke about it earlier. Because these trucks have so much power, they run a lot different brake biases they would on, like, say, a mile and a half. So these trucks, if you're not careful, these brakes will just kill you and loop the truck around, just like we saw there. I think Gabe actually knows a little bit more on that. Gabe?
I don't know if Gabe's actually around, but I can answer that question for you. I really wouldn't want a huge brake bias difference to a mile track or somewhere like Bristol, Dover. At a track like this, you can get a lot more rotation through the corner, and it's the middle of the corner, hit 5 flags, that's a big factor. As you have Russell Berry down pit road, it could well be his tyres up here. You want to get the truck rotating more in the middle, not on the entry. You want to be doing very little in the middle of the corner, so you're braking pretty much in a straight line. Brake bias isn't as big a problem at this track, so you want that truck, to turn in the middle. So you're talking right rear spring perch, talking wedge. So it's off throttle, off brake in the middle, which is really going to give you speed. And I'd rather actually have a more balanced brake bias here, just for reaction to wrecks.
I came over the whisper there and just said, yeah, I'm gonna stop asking the crew chief about this. She knows more than I do.
Well, Bird, she's thinking about this up front. He's doing pretty good. The interesting thing here is, again, he qualifies on pole position, Cisco, for this race on Tuesday. This is a similar discussion we had earlier in the SKs. He was only the 16th fastest truck, though, in practice. Under these conditions, Ty Spearman behind him faster than him. David Krikorian faster than him. Marcus Lambert, Andrew Fayash, all faster than him. Tonight alone, now again, your practice speed is not going to be indicative, really, maybe of what your car can do on an entire run, but maybe the 99 machine not minding a couple of these early caution flags, because so far, he has not been the best truck here. He was actually in the back 2/3 of the field in practice.
Yeah, but he's got that #1 starting position, as we saw before. That bottom line is so strong here at 5 flags, and he's just, I believe, just been able to hold that bottom line. He's been able to do it in the other 2 races. He's been the best that I've seen in both the SKs and the street stocks on that bottom line, and getting the nose in there. So I think that's what he's got it dialed in for on his setup. And the green flag going to come out now, and Berg going to dive the inside there. Sorry about that. But Berg going to take the inside now as they come out of 2.
Problems getting down to the inside. It's Spearman in second. A battle for third on back at a 7. And David Riendo top side. He not going to find any help down low, because it's Marcus Lambert, the Motor Racing Network, 96 Chevrolet, down to the inside of the racetrack. Keeps it O's there. And with that, the Haviland Toyota stuck up top. Fayash, the next driver, to try to look inside.
Get right now. 2 wide racing. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Fayash gonna get the spot there on Riendo there, and right now, right behind him also is that 96 he spoke about earlier. Oh wait, no, that's not the 96, that's the 87. Oh, I'm all over the place.
One thing I was going to point out, Evan, is we have the 91 of Ty Majeski on the move right now. He started back in 23rd position. He's currently 12th. Passing cars low side, high side, 3 wide, 2 wide. This truck is on a mission to get to the front. Wasn't a qualifier, don't forget, as the 54 goes high and gets the wall. That's the 54 of Burnett. His truck's okay, though. He's off pace, though, so take him a lap or 2 to get back up. But Majeski really wants to keep an eye on. He is moving.
Here, Brandon, a little bit sideways. He steps it up the hill. He hangs on. That 91 of Majeski, in those very short green flag runs earlier, had never gained less than 2 spots. He picked up 4, then 3, then 2. He has always been moving forward, and already now just 27 laps into this race, cracking a top 10 running spot after starting back in 23rd. Up front, though, Ty Spearman trying to apply the pressure on Kevin Burge. He's trying to get a second trip to victory lane on the night. A 92 machine tucked up on a back bumper. Fastest driver inside of one of the practice sessions earlier on in the week. And he's putting up quite the challenge right now. Marcus Lambert right there. How about Andrew Fayash III, though? First time we're seeing the Pennsylvania native driver, rather, in a 157 Chevy, up 2 spots as well. Patrick Hahi, though, we've seen him all night long. He's passed 11 drivers, and he wants a top 5 spot. He's all over the back of Krikorian.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of front nose damage, but it's a short track. Not really going to be a big of an issue here, but it looks like we got a 5-car, almost like a tandem, as it looks like 9-2 Spearman get to take a look at the inside, and our leader not going to do it this time. But that Spearman truck, he's kind of leading the charge, and looks like a
motor,
train.
number 70. That is the 70 of Davey Ridnow. There's damaged engine there. I'm going to have to try and find out what happened to him, but his truck is toast. Coming out of turn 2, hopefully get a replay of that. It was just this lap we've just seen. Heads into the corner. I think he downshifts or something, but our truck's motor just goes bang and he heads down pit road. So early end of the night for number 70 of Davey Ridnow.
We had seen this earlier in the week, but it was an issue with Ty Majeski on qualifying tape. I don't think maybe that's the issue that we see with David Riendo, but he comes down to the pit lane. The driver's in his stall now, and the crew take a look at that truck, at least if he even gets back out there. Multiple laps down after running in a top 10 spot. For all intended purposes, the Haviland entry is done as you take a look at the replay on the LSRTV side by side. What's going on up front? Well, Kevin Burge leads, but when they start to stack up, that typically means that first truck in line is a little bit slower than the rest of them. Spearman right there. Lambert, Fayesh, Krikorian, the top 5 drivers within 0.8 of a second of each other. And it's at a point where, Spearman's not fast enough to just blow the doors off of Kevin Burge. He's just a little bit quicker. Trying to look to the inside this time down the back. The 99 not having any of it. He blocks him.
Well, when the trucks are this tight together, you can't really go high to get a fast entry over the other caution on the racetrack.
It's the 96 truck of... I really got to fix this. 96 truck goes around.
Also, the 29 truck is spun out on the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looked like what happened there. The 96 got sort of on the inside there, kind of jumped up the track and just...
And Marcus Lambert in that Motor Racing Network Chevrolet, front end damage on that truck. He was in that bumper to bumper to bumper, all of that, and the 96 machine sideways, and he spins it out. Fayash with a good job of jumping up to get around him. The number 66 machine there also maybe some small damage. So Lambert spins out, keeps going. And then behind them, as everybody's checking up, another driver hard on the brakes to lock things up. And because of that, he spins out. So 2 cars around, and race leader is not coming down to the pit lane quite at this point, Gabriel.
Yeah, guys, I got a garage report for you guys. Unfortunately, the 7-car, Davey Ridnow, it's terminal. He's sitting down in here pit road. They're going to do their best to get the car on the racetrack. It does not look good.
And hearing that it may actually be one of those tape problems, we saw Ty Majeski on Thursday night go out for his qualifying dash race after being the fastest driver in time trials, had to start 10th in that 20-lap race to qualify for the pole on Sunday's main event for the Super Late Models. Got up to 5th position, lost the engine on that truck before he forgot to reset the tape from qualifying to race trim, hearing that may be the problem that the number 70 of David Riendo had, 23rd spot, and he's not officially out of the race at this moment, but with the truck on pit road, Rachel, really for all intended purposes, his night is done. One driver we do have retiring officially, the 671 of Anthony Mahone. He calls it quits early after an opening race incident. He'll finish in 24th.
Yeah, I agree. And it's always something difficult. The drivers have got to make sure they're on the right setup when they go into race conditions. It's should be on your checklist. If you don't remember it, you need to put something up and you can just say, check things, make sure race setup loaded. It catches people all the time, but if you notice it, we've had cautions within the first few laps here. So, plenty of opportunity to come down pit road and fix this. I don't think he had too much tape on. If he was running 100 for qualifying, he would have made 2 green flag laps. I think he's had just a little too much. He's been running too close behind someone, and it's blown the motor. So, more likely a bit overzealous in the tape, but rather than it being a mistake, I think, in hindsight. So, something you'll have to learn from and adapt to, but it's always very difficult when you're trying to set the truck up on your own, and These temperatures are great, but when running in a trend traffic, it's a whole different ball game, and not very easy to test these things around this circuit, as they don't ever go here really.
And with that green flag stretch, bridges us through 40 laps in the books. And it's Kevin Burge to turn one. Again, no problem for the driver that has led every single lap so far at the 5 Flag Speedway. Good news up top side for Krikorian as he's able to drop down in line. One truck way up against the fence behind him. The 91 of Ty Majeski, 6th position on the restart. Now drops to 8th after he went way in hot to turn 3. Got sideways, stepped it up the hill. We saw that just a couple of laps ago with another truck, and this time it'll cost Majeski 3-4 spots. He falls back, and Taft Baldwin puts a move on him, so Majeski now P9.
And right now our leader, Kevin Burge, is kind of putting on a clinic. He's starting, him and his teammate behind him, Ty Spearman of the posse, those two are kind of starting to pull away, but now, just as I say that, they're starting to catch back up. And right now, looks like we got a battle on the track towards the back of them.
51 to 54, Matt Rolfe, Stephen Burnett, 13th and 12th position. Another one of the fights, but we're taking a look right inside the top 10, and it's a battle for 9th on the racetrack, and it looks like everybody sorts things out for the moment. The 87 to Patrick Kahi, though, high at the start-finish line. The 87 driver from P5 on track. He'll give up a spot to Ryan Borges. Borges in the Stowe Motorsports entry. A little bit of damage on the back end. Somebody's gotten into him. And behind him, we talked about that 7 to James Linkowitz. Well, 22nd to 6th for the driver that went to victory lane in the street stocks. He's moving forward.
Yeah, so is Majeski, recovering from his run up the track. Currently sitting in P8, looking at P7 now. We did talk earlier on after the green flag run about Kevin Berg's tyres perhaps going somewhere and a big kind of conga line of traffic behind him. If he can hold that on the bottom line, it's not really much he can do to defend it, but Ty Spearman gets underneath him going into turn 3, holds that car of Berg up on the high side, and Spearman should have the lead next time by the stripe.
99 tries to continue to challenge. It won't be enough, though. New race leader at lap number 48, Ty Spearman, from 4th position on the start of this race, takes over the top spot just shy of the 1/3 mark. Ty Majeski, more problems. The number 91 machine now heavily more damaged, and in front of him, the 87 with an issue. Majeski plows into the back of him, so front end damage now on Majeski's truck. So bad, so it looks like the 87 to Patrick Kahi, he pulls it down to the apron, thought about coming down to the pit lane. He'll stay out there on track, but if I'm Ty Majeski now, if someone's going to lose the engine, it's the 91, because a lot of the time, if you get front end damage on those trucks, those engine temps will go up, and they'll do so very, very quickly.
Yeah, it looked like, as we're seeing smoke right now, it looks like someone got loose. It was actually our former race leader, but it was Berg got loose there. So he's going to drop all the way to 5th right now. Caution on the racetrack.
Caution flag flies, and slowed is the number 77 of Anthony Celentano. May be problems for the Club West Racing Chevrolet, and it is for the 77 machine. Anthony Celentano started in 21st position. That car got sideways. He had a self-spin into the outside wall that brings out the caution. You take a look at the earlier problem for Kevin Burge. 1/3 of the way through the race at the 5 Flag Speedway. We'll step away and take a quick break. More action from the D&D Amusement Games. Fall Brawl 150 on the other side. You're watching the SARA Fall Brawl Spectacular on LSRTV.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look. All the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing bucks. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Back live for the restart. Inside of now the final 100 laps from the Five Flag Speedway. Ty Spearman, for the first time tonight, he'll lead us back to the green flag as the pace car gets down and away. Off goes the 92 and back underway we go with 95 laps remaining in the D&D Amusement Games Fall Brawl 150. Krikorian once again in second spot, this time on the inside lane. He'll get second down the back straightaway. Fayash not giving up top though.
And Spearman took off like a rocket. As meanwhile, we see the battle kind of getting hold up. Our second and third place are kind of side by side, and that's allowing Burge to get away from them, or not Burge, Spearman get away from them. Right now, Krikorian able to clear the 157, and now Lankowitz going to try and do the same thing here on the bottom, but that 157's really jamming up those guys from maybe making a run on our leader here.
Devin, the next driver, as you said, trying to get through. James Linkowitz continuing his charge from the back to the front. Not enough, though, to keep it on the inside, and Fayash gets clear top side to successfully defend that spot, and he goes right back on the attack to the inside on David Krikorian. This fight for second, 8/10 behind race leader Ty Spearman, and a great move by the 157. Not only was he able to hold up pretty good up top side, now trouble back in the pack, though. It's down the back straightaway. Everybody slows and checks up. Racetrack is blocked and almost collecting a few other cars as Kyle Holtzhausen detracts his entry is sideways.
Yeah, big incident there for Kyle Holtzhausen. Just not what you want to see on the racetrack. That was massive. Again, product of what can happen here. As he come into the corner, he gets agged, I believe, and well, the two truck self-spins and that catches Holtzhausen. Big incident there, yeah. That's, well, the two trucks seems to be spinning around more than Kylie Minogue record at the moment.
So that two truck spins, and we were talking about this in the street stock, Cisco, how in the SK's left side tires on the white line, goodbye. The street stocks, they could hook it up a little bit, and Yamos used that apron to turn him. This time, though, the third time tonight, Cody Thompson with the spin. It's not that that truck isn't fast. It's actually very fast. He got up to a top 10 running spot, but for the third time tonight, single-handedly causes a caution flag.
Yeah, unlike the street stocks, I don't think these trucks are built for hitting that apron, and that looked like what happened in the two truck as we saw the replay there just a moment ago. But yeah, it looks like he just caught the apron there, and that was just enough to send that thing sideways. And tough break for the 96 and a bunch of other trucks back there, as they're going to have to pick up the pieces.
And unfortunately, this time, with that truck being inside of the top 10, collects quite a few other drivers in that one. Couple of fast names in that mix as well. So caution flies again just past the 1/3 mark in this one. Davey Riendo, Anthony Mahone, still the only two drivers with enough problems to retire so far. However, Cody Thompson down to the pit lane, Gabriel. He one of the drivers that has had many problems tonight. His truck looks pretty torn up, but he is still on track.
Yeah, he's just leaving the pits now. Be interesting to see. I believe his crew made some adjustments on the car. Other drivers to make pit stops on this round of pit stops and the last time. Taft Baldwin has taken 2 right side tires on the last caution. Patrick Hahe takes 4, and Derek Robinson has taken 2 right side tires on this caution. So strategy already being played right before halfway.
Go ahead. Keep going.
It's
So
a tough one tonight
Spearman-
for these drivers, as we see a lot of incidents early on, and we're seeing mistakes with the cars, and I'm finding it quite unusual these guys are getting down to the apron there and catching that line. It seems to be catching a few people out, but honestly the truck, sorry, will be quite loose if you're doing that, but at the same time, they only have 4 Goodyear tires to take during this race, so you can make sure you don't use them too often. So a very loose truck early on. You'll get cleaner later on, but going green this time by, Evan?
And slowly we're starting to see these guys build up a little bit of body wear on these trucks. Some of them starting to get torn up, and that will continue on into tonight. It's going to be Spearman, Krikorian, Fayash, Linkowicz, and Majeski inside of the top 5. The base guard down and away. Spearman on the bottom waits a little bit longer than he normally does on the allowed pedal, and green flag flies. We go back underway. First fight for second. Fayash was on the other end of this one on the last restart. This time he's on the bottom. It's Krikorian up top side, and a 157 machine advantage to turn 3. 66 giving it a lot into the corner. He's able to hold him off for now, but then Fayash gets clear out of 4.
And it looks like whenever these restarts happen, it looks like the second and third truck kind of gets stuck next to each other, and that just allows our leaders to just put a decent gap on the pack right now as we're watching Spearman. He's got a good
potential spinner, 99. Kevin Berg loose again, losing many spots on the racetrack. Sorry to cut you off there, but that truck not happy after he lost the lead. Dirty Air not in favor of Kevin Berg.
And that was another one where he was top side, didn't get hit by anybody, just got a little bit loose into the corner. We've seen everybody have that, everybody including Ty Majeski, problems into the corner. He's able to hang on, but he loses time. Now he's fighting for trying to hang on to P12 with Russell Berry, and Berry on the inside. The Denver Mattress Toyota had a spin earlier on in this race, is able to get clear, and Berg will finally find the spot in line in front of Matt Rolfe, not before falling out from the top 8 cars, back to 13th.
And meanwhile, Fayash has been able to track down our leader, Ty Spearman. I think Spearman's going to let him take the inside here and let Fayash lead the race for a little while. Yep, Fayash to the lead.
Can't say that I'm surprised, because that 157, and he put up a good fight on the top side, but when he was able to get down and just make quick work of David Krikorian, who was the fastest driver in practice, you had to know that Fayash had something underneath the hood of that truck after starting back in P6 tonight. First race on the weekend for the feature races. Big trouble though on the front straightaway. Caution flag is out down to turn 1, and it's spinning out into the wall. Goes the 8 truck trying to avoid it. That's Derek Robinson. Yellow flag though out earlier, and it's contact in front of Patrick Hahi. Matt Bontempi sideways at a turn number 4. He spins it out, so does the 87, and the loose condition strikes another pair.
This is exactly what I was saying earlier on about those trucks seeming to hit like an invisible oil patch out of 4. When the tires start to wear, you lose grip as that bump comes up the track. You find the track does climb exiting turn 4. It's a bit like Bristol. You go up and out across the straight. So when the wheels are at the kind of the highest rate of turn, the highest RPM, you're finding that the things are spinning. As we have the replay now, just turns in and that catches the other truck out, unfortunately. But it's balance.
Evan, as we see some trucks head down pit road, this isn't the first time we've seen more trucks getting bumped after the caution, trying to slow down for the caution. This seems to be a little bit of a recurring theme we're seeing through our third race here tonight.
Yeah, the track got blocked there, and even that one, those trucks to the bottom, it hasn't even been that bad in these trucks. Earlier tonight, when you saw a couple of incidents, the trucks and the cars, I guess, earlier, they'd get spun, they'd be in the middle of the track. These guys had to lock them up. They'd spin out, they'd get turned, they'd get in accidents after the initial caution flag. Here, though, partly that same reason. 5 flags is wide. It's a wide, short track. Not for the trucks, though. There's not a whole lot of room. But these trucks, again, we keep talking about how there's such a lot of braking demand at this track. A lot of people, even not being forced to slam on the brakes, just spinning out afterwards. It's treacherous out there. You're seeing guys get loose in. They're getting loose off the corner, and especially off the corner, they're paying the price. So these guys skating on black ice here early on in this race, and we cross the halfway point this time through under the caution flag. So let's take a look at it, where everybody is, where they run through 75 of 150 laps with the iRacing.com midway race break. Andrew Fayash III is your current race leader. Ty Spearman is in second position. David Krikorian in third. Taft Baldwin in fourth. And Anthony Salentado rounding out your top 5. Sixth position is Marcus Lambert. Ian Lane in 7th. 8th spot to Jeff Hogard. Cody Thompson in 9th position. And at the moment, rounding out your top 10, the 8 of Derek Robinson.
Running 11th is going to be the 29 truck of Dale Owen. Ryan Borges up to 12th, started 18th. 13th going to go to Ty Majeski, who's been through, looks like he's been through the wars as of late. 14th going to go to Matt Rolfe, and James Lankwitz running 15th. 16th going to go to Kevin.
Continuing on, Kevin Berg. You got Kyle Holtzhausen in 17th. 18th is Hunter Combs after being a little bit closer up to where he sits now at the beginning of tonight's race. Russell Berry 18th, and 20th is Stephen Burnett.
And 21st going to go to Patrick Hahey. Matt Patempi, after being in that wreck, is all the way down 22nd. And then our 2 retirees so far, Davey Ridenow is in 23rd, 45 laps down. And Anthony Mahoney, also 46 laps down. So the pace car peels off.
And Fayash on the bottom, not much hope for Ty Spearman up top. Green flag flies back, and away we go. Krikorian was the guy on the outside in, looking in on the last restart. This time, the Pepsi Chevy on the inside, but a bobble in turn 2. How about Ty Spearman, Rachel? Power move up top. He jumps in line in second.
He does. Great move there by Spearman. Just awesome positioning. Gets a good position over David Krikorian, but wow, it's shaking things up towards the front. We've had a few positions changed, and wow, Anthony Celentano's truck looks very short. Back end on that truck, rear-ended hard. He's about a quarter shorter than everybody else on the track.
We talked about guys getting in accidents and then getting back up to the front. We've talked about the 2 truck of Cody Thompson. 3 self-spins tonight. He's still in 12th spot. Celentano backed that truck into the wall pretty hard earlier on tonight. He's still in a decent running spot, P6, after starting in 21st position. Majeski behind him in 7th position. The 91's been up and down the standings a couple of times tonight. He goes to the inside. He wants that number 6 spot. He'll get it. Celentano drops to 7th, and now the 8 truck wants to join in on the inside. So the 77 was P6. It looks like it'll be all about P9 or so by the time these guys are done. And Linkowitz to the inside on the 8. As the 8 was making a move on the 77, there's contact at a 2.
Really close racing there by Linkowitz and Robinson. And Robinson going to get him again. He's going to get shot up the track. So now he's going to lose another spot to Anthony Celentano. So now he's going to fall back into the clutches of Ian Lane and get stuck again on that outside. So Derek Robinson not having the great night after being caught up in that wreck in the last caution.
Celentano struggling with the handling behind him. It's Derek Robinson signing side by side to number 98 of Ian Lane on the inside of the racetrack. 3 wide, no, the 8 sideways at a 2. He'll hang on again, though. Another truck trying to hang on to that, and a little bit of a bobble. No harm, no foul back there in the pack. Look at Ryan Borges. Left side tires up against the fence. He tries to get to the inside of Ian Lane. He will do so. Borges from 18th position. First time tonight in the single-digit spot. He takes 9th.
Yeah, interesting move by him. Quite early to be putting the bumper to someone. Of course, well, we are about halfway, but he wants to get a move on past 77 as well now into one who seems to be given in the spot. But I'll be sure I'll be using up my credit chips too early, using that chrome horn on other cars. But in the top 10, he's in a good spot now. And well, the fewer trucks there are in front of you, the less chance of getting hit by someone spinning. So it's not a bad strategy.
And you talked about before, Evan, the 91 of Ty Majeski. He's all the way up to 3rd. He's flying right now.
Pretty sure he was in 6th like 2 laps ago, but he is in 3rd spot, and he's going to try to bridge the gap between the top 2 and everybody else, because Andrew Fayash well out in front of the field. He's 7/10 of a second in front of Spearman, and then it's over 2 seconds till you got to, at time, 3rd place runner Marcus Lambert. Majeski's taken over that spot, and the last time by Ty Majeski, can't say I'm surprised by this, the fastest truck on track, and he's about 2/10 of a second quicker than Spearman, at a 1/10 of a second quicker than Fayash every single time around. That with the damage on that truck, he'll have to wait though. Caution flag back out and stopped in turn 1. Patrick Hahey, 2nd time in a row he's caught up in an incident. This time it's as of his own doing, as that truck gets a little bit sideways at a quarter number 4. He gets turned by the 29 machine, but it all started when he lost the handle on it.
It looked like Owen had nowhere to go and just kind of got caught up there and just got in the back of the 87 and spun him around. And just to add to a bad night, it's just gone from bad to worse for that 87 truck.
So Hahey will fall to 22nd spot with the damage. And again, a lot of guys get caught up in a couple of incidents. They're still not running in that bad of positions, but you're just going to slowly add on to how much damage those trucks have. It could very well look like Eldora at the end of the night. Pit cycles, though, nobody from the top 4 come down pit road, but this time, Ty Spearman, the first driver down. To you, Gabriel.
A lot of these guys, they haven't made their pit stops yet. A lot of these guys taking 4 tires. I see left sides going on the number 98 truck at Ian Lane. 70 car still sitting on pit road. A lot of these guys taking 4, so I think we're mostly done with pit stops for tonight.
Borges going to win that exchange of the battle off of pit road. Still with 22 drivers on the lead lap. But, you know, a lot of cautions early, Rachel. we got to the first 1/3 of this race, got a couple more cautions, and now next thing we know, we're going to be in the final 50 laps. It's hard to say that you're going to go to the final 50 and have, I guess, more clean and green flag laps than you have before, but the possibility still is there. A lot of these incidents, though, it's not guys driving too aggressive. We've seen, if anybody, they put the bumper to somebody, they're being smart about it, but a lot of guys really just can't handle these trucks.
Yeah, the track's a major factor, and of course, like we said earlier, it does change throughout the race, but I think a lot of these guys have been a little too aggressive trying to make speed early on, and one of the biggest changes with dynamic track surface is it pays to be a little bit more patient, so major advantage to those guys who can keep the truck a little bit calmer, not use too much too early, and of course one set of tyres should really be inspiring that, but they're driving like they've got 40 sets of tyres in the pits, so it's going to lead to the truck doing things you probably don't want it to do, and well, they're going to have to think of something.
Bayash leads. He started in 6th. Majeski in 2nd. He started in 23rd. He was a no tire call in the SK Modifieds to win it, and it was a tire call in the straight stocks that led James Linkowitz to go on and win that one. He is right now in 4th position, and your winner from earlier in the night, Ty Spearman, back in 13th position. He just came down and took tires, something that he didn't do in the first race on the night. So strategy abundant at the Five Flag Speedway. The pace car going to get back down. There will be just 56 laps remaining in the final feature race on the evening. Fayash, you have to assume he'll have the jump on the bottom. What Majeski needs to do is, he was quicker than all of those guys up front. He is no longer 2 seconds back. He needs to get in line in 2nd if he wants a shot. Fayash will hold him back. Green flag flies, and back and away we go. Bad news for Fayash is a great jump by Lambert to the inside for 2nd.
And that's going to kick Ty Majeski out to the outside. He's going to have to really soldier there if he can hope to get 2nd. He's going to. Power move by Ty Majeski to the inside. Well, he'll line up 2nd now. Great move by Majeski to get down on the inside there as he's going after Fayash. Gonna dive it in. Not this time. Got his nose chopped off. But Fayash quick to dive the inside there and not let Ty get a nose under as we got problems. Huge wreck coming out of 2.
The 54 into the inside fence. The 20 truck stopped as well on the top side. Caution flag back out, and well, I just said that we haven't seen a whole lot of incidents from heavy contact amongst drivers. This changes that a little bit. 3 wide gone wrong. The 77 pushing up the hill a little bit. It's Anthony Celentano. Has kind of had an up and down night. He is kind of in the middle. The 54 tries to go down low. Burnett runs out of room, and quite the accident as well, collecting the 77, the 2 truck, the 29. A handful of drivers involved down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I'd actually put that one on the 77 truck. He comes down off too, as though there's nobody on his inside, and well, yeah, okay, the truck is not alongside him, but the 54 has his bumper level with his rear quarter panel, and he just closes the door. Nowhere really to go in the acceleration zone for the 54, so I'd actually put that on the 77 there of Anthony Centonio, sorry, because he could have been a little bit more aware, should have left a gap.
And at that, when we go back green, there's going to be less than 50 laps to go in this race. And if you've been tuning in all day long on LSRTV, you'll know that, well, that's when things get exciting. It's been an interesting one so far. The Super Trucks approach the end of the D&D Amusement Games Fall Brawl 150. We step away for a moment, back at Five Flags.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Monza is a very historic track. It's been around since the 20s, and it's gone through several permutations since then. We're also bringing forward a number of configurations. So there's chicanes that they've installed since the track's early days, so they can use original.
Back under the green flag at the Five Flag Speedway. Again, no problems for Andrew Fayash to get back out in front of the field. Majeski, though, in second, was faster than him the last time these guys got a couple of green laps under their belt.
Incident out of turn number 4. Big one happens on the front straightaway, I believe that is, and that was started, if we can get a replay up, that was the 8 truck and the 32 truck. 32 washes up out the corner, tags the 8, puts him sideways. He corrects, goes into the wall, and the 787 goes round, collects the 87, and all sorts of apocalypse breaks loose.
Yeah, Borges, I mean, he pushes up the slightest bit, and especially with that outside lane, they're not going to be giving each other a whole lot of room anymore. 8 truck not going to move up and give Borges a whole ton of real estate, so he's pinching him down a little bit, and when Borges pushes up, he gets into that 8 machine, and as you said, it's Robinson who goes up into the outside wall, and back in first, he smacks it. Nobody gets into the 8. The problem is there was nowhere again, and it's a factor against Cisco. It's the secondary incident that's the problem. Nowhere at all for Kyle Holtzhausen goes. He spins out trying to avoid it. That's what collects the 3-4 other trucks.
Yeah, and like we spoke about it before, it's just those secondary incidents and a little bit of visibility and the shortness of the track. But right now, our leader actually came down pit road. Straight to you, Gabe.
Andrew Fayash, the third, he's going to make a quick pit stop. He's going to take 4 tires. Hasn't pitted yet in this race. He's going to take advantage, get 4 new Goodyear Wranglers. He's going to pull back on track. He's going to win the race off pit road.
And I don't believe Ty Majeski has pitted yet either, so the 91 takes over the race lead. How far back does this put Andrew Fayash, though, inside of 50 laps to go? Almost to the point where I'd say if you want to making this move, you want to make that move a little bit earlier. You see Ty Majeski. Ty started this race in 23rd spot, worked his way up to the field with a lot of caution flags earlier in the race, but that truck is damaged, so you know, the stats say, Rachel, if you're back in the pack, it's probably not going to be that clean. An interesting move for Andrew Fayash, but I think in a position that he was in, leading the race, sure, but he knew that sooner or later Ty was going to make the move on him. Majeski was quicker for the good 25 laps up to that pit stop, so he brings it down pit road, and now we'll see what he can do with it.
I think fresh tires have been an advantage, but with the way things have gone in traffic right now, I don't think it's too safe for them, so it's going to be a tough one, but I think it's a possible option for him. I don't like being back in the traffic here. It's pretty risky at the moment.
Additional problems for Patrick Cahy. The number 87 machine is going to end his race on a sour note. The driver in 21st position right now, more engine problems. Second time tonight we've seen a driver with engine problems that'll force him down to the pit lane. And again, for all intended purposes, he is now done on his Saturday night campaign. The lights on the pace car go out. Let's reset. 42 laps to go and 18 trucks still on the lead lap. What are they racing for? Well, up for grabs, a purse of $90, $45 additionally for bonus prizes. Needless to say, somebody wants to win this race, and James Linkowitz on the inside as Majeski elects to take the high side for the restart, trying to get his second in a row at a pretty good spot.
Yeah, right now with his teammate on the outside who's leading this race, that's going to be Ty Majeski as the pace car heads down. Ty Majeski waiting on the pedal. Green flag's back out. Majeski's got a huge run on Linkowitz as they go into 1.
So he executes that outside lane very well. A good run into 1 and 2 with that big arc. He'll lead us down the back straightaway. Linkowitz in second. Side by side for third. The 99 gets the job done. Matt Rolfe wants to get fourth. Not going to happen, though. The 92 with Ty Spearman sticks a nose to the inside. Problem is, Rachel, the 92, that truck's a lot shorter than it normally was. The 51 almost looks twice as long as him.
Yeah, it does indeed. It's certainly a very different shape to the truck for him, but it's handling well so far, so not a big problem for him. So, hey, it's weight reduction.
Spinner for the number 11 truck, Taft Baldwin around the Pennzoil Chevrolet into the inside wall of that one. Another solo truck incident, this time again at a turn number 4. Nobody else additionally involved in this one, but the 11 machine is in the accident, so caution flag is out for Taft Baldwin in turn number 4.
And another, you spoke about it earlier, those secondary incidents. We saw it again with Matt Patempi. He got run the back of by Kyle Holtzhausen. Kyle just couldn't get stopped in time. I don't think he saw what Patempi saw in front of him, and Patempi kind of got bounced off the 54 a little bit, but just another nasty incident that, you know, these secondary incidents, they've been really fatal tonight for some of these guys.
And again, slowing things down, Ty Majeski up at the front of the field. He's getting a lot of good restart practice in. Is this good news, Rachel, or bad news for a guy like Andrew Fayash, who's in 11th position right now, these caution flags?
I think it's a bad thing. He's going to bunch up, which is good. But cautions breed cautions, and they breed cautions. Then they have little baby cautions. Then they grow up and have grandchildren cautions. So you can maybe get one car, maybe 2 cars on a restart. So as it stands for Fayash, it's a major problem. You know, he just can't get the track position and the movement. So and every time Majeski will check out. This is Ty Majeski with nobody in front of him. You're going to be hard pressed to catch him if you were starting second. Never mind 11th.
And all of these incidents happening right in and around where Fayash sits. He's basically in the middle of everything at the moment. The top 2 on track right now, though, Ty Majeski and James Linkowitz, 23rd and 22nd on the grid. The 4 drivers behind them started 1, 4, 5, and 8. All top 10 drivers with Burge, Spearman, Krikorian, and Rolf as well. So every single race we've seen tonight has had guys from the back come forward. And again, the 5th place truck is still in this one, Cisco. 5th place has been a good place to start from tonight. Krikorian trying to maybe win from that 5th place tonight. The 20th position was the other one that was seeming to be a lucky number. I don't think that's very well, though, tonight. Anthony Mahone started in 20th, and he's 24th at a 24 truck. So the 91 is Spearman up front. He better hope it's not a drag race to the finish line, because he has pretty major damage on the front of that machine. I'm impressed that he's not having any engine temperature issues, though.
Yeah, and another truck that we're surprised not having any engine issues at all is actually our leader, Ty Majeski, a couple cautions ago. Rachel and I were talking about while we were off air, and it, from our standpoint, it looked really bad, but apparently May has enough tape on there not to be a problem or something. But
I think he might have learned after the Super Late Model race, but the advantage here right now is he's in clean air, so it is not going to hurt him at all. If he was okay in traffic, he certainly will be okay now with nothing in front.
Bingo.
And they're going to take another crack at it this time. 33 laps to go in Pensacola. Majeski chooses the top side again. He goes right away. Green flag back in the air, and underway we go again for the D&D Amusement Games Fall Brawl 150. Majeski race leader to turn 1. Linkowitz in second, no problem. The fight is on for third. It's the Mini Cooper up top, the 92 of Ty Spearman trying to do something with the 99 of Kevin Berg on the bottom.
And Berg, we've seen him. Oh, caution going to come out again. It looks like the 11 truck yet again had another spin there. Yes, Taft Baldwin.
Holtzhausen's hard in the wall, too. The 787, big hit.
Yep, that's just going to be... Oh, looks like the 11, what happened there? He just lost the back end there. Maybe locked it up or something, and the 787 just kind of... I don't know. Looks like he was trying to avoid the wreck and just lost the back end of his truck trying to do that and nosed it right in the wall. So... No, his engine did survive, so Kyle Holtzhausen, although when he tries to get it right, it nearly flips the truck over. That's going to be some big junk right there for Holtzhausen.
And that 11 machine, second time almost in a row that Taft Baldwin has a self spin. He says that something's broken it, so he'll park it for the night. And then again with Holtzhausen, he's not caught up in it, but he goes high to avoid it. He can't do it. He gets sideways and just overcorrects, drives himself into the wall, and big damage on that Traxxas Toyota Tundra. Caution flag flies, and we'll be with inside of 30 laps to go when we come back. Quick commercial break and back to the 5 Flag Speedway for the SARA Fall Brawl D&D Amusements 150 on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the Wild Kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Back live and again for a restart. This time going to come with just about 27 laps to go. Same song and dance though, Ty Majeski as part of routine now. Outside of the racetrack to get clear. That time though, Kevin Berg getting a little bit racy. Thought about going to the inside on Linkowitz. Doesn't do so and will slide back into that fight for third still. Spearman on the top side. Gregorian sideways behind them. The Pepsi Chevy all the way up the hill to hang on.
And meanwhile, Berg was able to get to the inside of Ty Spearman and take over that third spot. We've seen Berg do it so well on the inside, but now it's Spearman going to dive the inside on him in trouble again.
Jeff Hogard into the inside wall. The Ghostbuster Chevy comes to a stop. No caution. No, we stay green.
Who's he going to call? Well, the tow truck, we think.
The Ghostbuster Chevrolet with problems, and we've seen a couple of accidents that were not as bad as that one that don't trigger the yellow, but Jeff Hogard, I guess, using every single inch of that apron. No caution comes out. That was 3 wide for, 9th and 10th position, and not having a good night for the Ghostbusters Inspired Machine. Way back to 17th position. Up front, though, Majeski, no complaints there. The Trade Paint Chevy trying to continue to run away with this one.
Yeah, he is so strong, and he's on he's on openers, but he's managing to make it. Meanwhile, first car truck that came out that got tires, Andrew Fayash, he's up to 8th, putting the pressure right now on Ryan Borges, who took 2 tires, I believe, on that pit stop. So he's putting the pressure on Borges, hoping he can get past him and set sail on some of these leaders.
We go on board with Andrew Fayash III trying to get away around Ryan Borges, thinking about a crossover. Problem is, well, there's an inside wall in the way, all the way out of 4, all the way to turn 1, so not a whole lot of apron can be used. How about the chrome horn, though? A bump at a 2. Not that time. Fayash trying to get around Borges, because if he sits around, I'm sure Marcus Lambert might try to put a move on him. Lambert just behind him in 9th. He gets to the inside, though.
And it's going to be 20 laps to go, and he's going to get all the way past Borges unless Borges gets a huge run here. Not going to happen. Fayash going to slide up in front of Borges. But as we take 20 laps to go here, now 19. Jeez. I look back up to the front, and Ty Majeski, he, I don't know, he hit the nitrous.
A quarter of a lap ahead now, 1.8 seconds for Majeski. I don't think he's minded these last couple of yellows because that truck, by far and large, fastest one at the moment and pretty much the fastest truck all night long.
Well, clean air's a major factor in that. He's got nothing in front of him as we have a wreck again on the racetrack.
And they spread and scatter. Stopped in the middle is David Krikorian from 4th spot in the race. The Pepsi machine to the inside on James Linkowitz. That a move to try to take the number 3 spot, and Krikorian didn't have a nose into the corner. He went to the bottom late in the race, and he just overdrove it a little bit. The 7 gave him the line, and a great save by James Linkowitz to stay in this race. Krikorian overcorrects, he's in the fence. That's where the caution flag flies, and albeit the Smoky Mountain Chevy of Linkowitz drops to 5th, but that would have and probably should have been a lot worse. He does a great piece of driving to keep it on the racetrack and still inside of the top 5.
I think James Linkowitz, we're safe to say, we can give him the Tanner Faust Award for this race. That was an amazing save right there.
And despite the contact, maybe left rear alone only, that truck no other damage, and everybody else is able to find their way through there rather cleanly, so pretty much chalk it up as a 1-truck incident with that 66 of Krikorian. Krikorian, one of the fastest trucks all night long, and he kind of been sitting there, Rachel, all night, P4, 5, 6 or so. He started in 5th position, never really showed a whole lot of speed as far as Ty Majeski level speed to this point, but he had a very fast truck, definitely a top 5 truck. He tried to go for that top 3 spot, and the 7 again, Linkowitz gave him room, but he didn't give him any more room than he needed to. Luckily for the 7, that doesn't cost him. For Krikorian, though, tried to shove it into a spot where that really did not work, and once he pushed up that extra foot or 2, it was on from there.
You're always going to push up off the corner there. You can't keep it on the bottom lane, so that's they have to take into account. You just can't keep it down there. But especially now with tyres that are this much older, people are desperate. they're making moves now because they know that it's going to be a fairly short run. They want the position early on, whether they can defend it or not, because, of course, there's so many cautions, so it's going to be a product of itself.
So the number one spot on the track right now, Ty Majeski driving one of the 2013 Silverados. Same for Kevin Berg, same for Ty Spearman, same for Hunter Combs, same for James Linkowitz. Top 5 on track right now are all the old body-styled machines, and maybe you could argue that that truck's a little bit faster, but I think the common denominator is that it's a lot of the posse trucks up there.
Yeah, and the one leading them all right now, Ty Majeski, who I think they'll have to take that truck to inspection afterwards because I don't know what he's running, but when he looked out there, he looked like he had 104 horsepower.
On the front. It's a flat front. I mean, we're at 5 flags, so aerodynamics not an issue, but he looks like a Ford Fusion up there with the flat front end.
Then, he has 100 horsepower more than everyone else.
It is no difference in terms of the actual performance on a track like this. The actual package that's in the trucks is the same. The aero package in terms of its draft performance, and well, if we're to be specific in iRacing terms, its drafting performance on a super speedway is different, but its aero package on a shorter track like this is the same as the other truck. As I said, you can put setups from one and the other. It wouldn't provide a difference on this sort of track. I think you'll find it's the drivers that are in these trucks at the front that are making the difference.
And again, all of them on the same team. One of them going to get sped out of line, though. The 63 of Hunter Combs, he gets shoved out of the way. It's Andrew Fayash trying to do something, trying to crack back into the top 3. Side by side for 4th. Interestingly enough, decides to actually go to the outside instead of just staying behind in 2nd. If he doesn't make the pass on the 7, that decision could hurt him because here comes Borges. You got Marcus Lambert, Matt Rolfe and company. Inside of 10 laps to go at the 5 Flag Speedway. Ty Majeski already out by 3/4 of a second.
And now Linkwood's going to push up the track a little bit into the 157 of Fayash. Fayash still hanging tough on that outside, but it looks like maybe Linkwitz is getting a little bogged down on the inside, and that's allowing Fayash to get the run on the outside. This is the first time I've seen tonight, in the trucks at least, of someone really being able to hang on the outside and put up a battle against someone on the inside as fast as we got another caution.
And it's the 787 of Kyle Holtzhausen who goes around. This incident will happen out of turn number 2, I believe. And he goes into turn 1. It's actually going to be turn 4. And he's assisted on this one. Talk about guys going at it. Well, even with 16 trucks on the lead lap, I guess they're still going at it. Holtzhausen into the corner behind the Ghostbusters number 50 machine in front of him. And he's going to get turned by the 54 of Stephen Burnett. 787 got a little bit sideways, and really the 54 just finished him off there. So not a whole lot of blame you can place on Stephen Burnett. Again, just another truck getting loose. And the fact that every single yellow, somebody else gets damaged, that means the truck slowly begin to deteriorate. That doesn't help the handling cause at all.
But it doesn't seem to affect Ty Majeski. He's still got that huge right front damage. Hasn't come in to get that thing repaired. So that thing, although the nose is flat, he's still flying. And I guess the Traxxas truck ran out of batteries there. Okay, I tried. I had to try.
No, we're full of puns on Saturday night. It is Halloween, so the Ghostbusters one is logical. The Traxxas one, okay, I'll give it to you. But definitely not the performance that a lot of guys have wanted. And Holtzhausen, to be fair, Cisco, as well, he had been caught up in a couple of incidents earlier tonight, but again, as the secondary accident, we call it, in this one. This time, that truck gets loose. Unfortunately, it bites him. But there's a lot of guys, if you take that last incident out of the equation for Kyle Holtzhausen, what you've seen tonight is a lot of guys get caught up in a lot of stuff that was not their fault. There's about 3-4 guys here that have spun on their own 2-3 times at least. It's really hurting a lot of the other guys, including like Ty Majeski. Hasn't made a mistake himself tonight, is damaged from when somebody else had a mistake. Same thing goes for guys like Linkowitz and other guys where they're strong. Sometimes, though, there's just not enough real estate at 5 flags. What I can guarantee you is this is going to be the final time the pace car dives down and away for this restart, whether it goes green to the end or we see a yellow and a checker fly together. This is going to be the final restart on the night.
And I think Andrew Fayash is going to be the truck to watch for. Remember, he's got those fresh tires, and we know he's hungry. He wants to break into that posse stranglehold on the top 4 right now. So we'll have to see if the number 157 truck, if he's got anything for that top 4. But right now, the posse controlling the top 4 positions.
We wait for the lights to go off. When they do so, it will dictate how many laps remain in this race. This time by, the lights are extinguished. So for the second time tonight, although there are no official green-white checkers in the service, it is going to be a green, a white, and a checker. Majeski topside, if he has even a terrible restart compared to what he has had all night long, Rachel, he should be pretty good because he has been so stellar.
Certainly, and coming down off the top line into turn 1 low, he should have a nice head start, so expect 3 to 4 truck lengths as he gets out of 2. I think Majeski has is in the bag, unless he makes a mistake.
Green flag drops and 2 laps to go from Pensacola, Florida. It's Ty Majeski down to turn number 1. Contact for second. Linkowitz into the back of Kevin Berg. 99 sideways. He's in the outside wall. The 7 to the inside. He'll take second. Spearman wants third. Fayash wants fourth. The 99 gets ushered out of line. They think about 3 wide. They'll hold that off, and in all of that, it'll be Ty Majeski. He's well out in front of the chaos. Turn number 3 for the final time from 23rd on the grid. Checkered flag will fly. Winner from the 5 Flag Speedway, the D&D Amusement Games. 150 to Majeski. Look at the fight for third on back. It's Berg wins it as they wreck across the line.
And I had to come across the whisper because it just looked like coming to the line it was going to just be a huge wreck, but actually, we only had a minor one there, but yeah, no, it was actually some great racing there in the last 2 laps, but Ty Majeski just class of the field, just put a clinic on here at 5 Flags Speedway and takes the win here at 5 Flags.
And if that fight for third on back was for the win, it would have been a treat, but Majeski just well out in front of it. This starts when, I mean, the 99 of Berg was getting no love. He got shunted out of the way, somehow is on the podium, though.
Yep, you know, and it just goes to show how strong those posse trucks really were, because you look at the top 5, 4 of them, 91, 7, 99, and 92. Those are all posse trucks, so they just controlled everything.
They dictate the pace of the night, and they did in the beginning. They'll do so at the end, dictating the top finishing positions at the 5 Flag Speedway. We'll step away, wait for the top 3 drivers to come on down to the pit lane. We'll talk with them, wrap up our first night of racing, and prepare you for 200 laps and then a 250-lap feature tomorrow for the Pro Late models and the Super Late models that can be on LSRTV and iRacing Live. So we step away in the post-race show from the 5 Flag Speedway. We'll be back in just a moment. Ty Majeski, your winner in the D&D Amusement Games Fall Brawl 150.
But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the 2nd race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Ground Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish, number 1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu worked himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Hutu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now, just 3 corners left to go, into Brooklands for the final time, into Luffield for the final time. Never ever say that Gregor Hutu is beaten, because he just comes back bigger, he comes back stronger, he wins round number 9 of the World Championship Series, 49th win of his career. If you're the world's greatest racing driver, you can do it with your statements on the road courses. Do it when it matters. Out of the final corner for the final time, number 50 for Gregor Hutu, out of the final corner. At the top of the broadcast, we said if Hutu could win here today, he could well cement himself as the championship favourite. Gregor Hutu, the number 1 machine, back to victory lane, win number 51. Hutu is inching closer rapidly to his 5th, and yes, I say that correctly, his 5th World Championship. Out of the bus stop chicane comes the number 1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu will win here at Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Yes, you may be behind a computer with a steering wheel and a set of pedals, but for these drivers, this is as close as they may ever get to racing in real life. It will be Gregor Hutu coming past the line. He is a 5-time world champion. Gregor Hutu wins the championship one more time. He is the greatest driver in the history of open wheel racing here at iRacing.com, and dare I say it, he is the greatest open wheel champion in the history.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
We welcome you back live to the Five Flags Speedway, the home of the Snowball Derby. The D&D Amusement Games 150 is in the books. It's the third race of 3 on our Saturday night triple header feature on LSRTV, and it's Ty Majeski who wins the Super Trucks at the Five Flags Speedway. We welcome you into the LSRTV post-race show. Evan Pasoko, Rachel Whiteford, Cisco Scaramuza along for the ride with you. And to get things kicked off, caught up with our third place finisher, Kevin Berg. Rachel, you were with the driver of the 99. Started on pole tonight, just not enough to bring it together. He still ends up on the podium.
Mine was pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. And got Kevin Berg here with us now. Kevin, interesting race for you, of course. You did start on pole tonight. Very fast truck, of course. But once you got back out of the clean air, you seem to have lots of problems with that truck not performing great in a crowd.
No. I had a good run going, and then I just got tight, and what got us shuffled back quick was I made a small brake bias adjustment, and I ended up getting very loose in 3 and 4. Pretty lucky to hang on to it, and then it happened again. But had a good recovery, nothing to be ashamed of for sure. The posse put on another great show, I think, and top 3 is pretty cool.
It is a great finish indeed, and that 99 truck of yours not looking spectacularly clean after that race. what is your opinion really of the race throughout the event? People being a little too impatient, perhaps?
I think that has to do with it. I didn't try to get anybody if I did, but I think a lot of it is this is kind of a new series that this league hasn't run yet. This is kind of I wouldn't say a test go around, but the first time for a lot of guys, and it's a lot of power going to the wheels, and it's sometimes hard to hang on to. I think that was a lot of it, but I think overall, if there wasn't so many cautions, I think the racing was good. There's a lot of inside and outside lane use in the race, and a lot of people actually passing on the outside, which I think puts on for a better show.
It certainly does, and overall throughout the race, of course, we know you only had 4 tires to take during the entire duration. Did you find 4 enough? Do you think that the truck was good in its tire usage, or how did you feel the track changed and came to you throughout the race?
I think it was good. I think the one pit stop with the 4 tires was the right move for this race. Because, like I said, some of this was an unknown for a lot of people coming in. So it did allow to let us to change a couple things pressure wise and other things. But I think that 4 tires was enough. I don't see. I guess the trucks to me got a little bit tighter as the run went on. But I think it was just if you had some tire management with your right foot, that helped also in the long run.
That's great to hear that. And Kevin Berg came home today with 3rd position in the race and the final step on the podium. Back to you, Evan.
So that's going to be a 3rd place result for the driver of the number 99 machine. Again, Kevin Berg comes home on the podium. He started from pole. Cisco, the driver you're with, had a much further distance to come from 22nd to 2nd. Almost doubles it up. 2nd place for James Linkowitz.
Yeah, down here on the track with James Lankwitz in the pits right now. James, 2nd time we get to talk to you tonight. Now you're going to come home 2nd at Ty Majeski. You had a great run there, but you had to come from a far away place in 22nd. How was the race out there?
Oh, man, yeah, we missed the heat race. We couldn't make it, so we had to start in the back, and we knew that. So I just hoping we'd be able to make it through the wrecks and all that kind of stuff and stayed out of trouble, and it worked out well. And it was a blast racing these trucks here.
I was mentioning it during the broadcast, just the stranglehold you and your whole team had on 1st through 4th, and you end up 1st through 4th. Talk about kind of the team tactics you used during the race. Do you have anything up your sleeve that the rest of the drivers weren't really expecting?
No, not at all. Honestly, we were so tight after the first, right before we pitted there, and it was hard to get the car to turn off the corner, and then we made some adjustments in the pits, and it worked out for all of us, and we were all a little bit better, and we just worked together to make sure we raced each other hard, but, where it wasn't going to hurt us in the end, letting other people get by and whatnot, and just being smart about everything.
But great run for you here, and you're looking forward to run the last 2 races, pros tomorrow, and then right after that, it's going to be the supers. That's going to be a blast.
I'm very excited for both of them. I'm starting on the pole for both of them. I won both of the dashes in those, and man, it's going to be a freaking blast tomorrow, too. We're excited.
Well, you come home 2nd tonight. Hope to talk to you tomorrow, but before we let you go, who do you want to thank for finishing 2nd tonight? Great run for you.
Oh, everyone on the posse, especially all the members that ran the truck race tonight. Our buddy Hunter, Ty Majeski, Kevin Berg, and Ty Spearman.
All right, well, that's James Lankowitz going to finish 2nd here, and I believe Evan has caught up with our winner down on pit road, maybe? Evan?
Taking a look at the moment, Ty Majeski not available for comment at the time, but the 91 machine, we've seen him a couple of times in this SARA, and again, we covered the RB Performance Super Late Model Series a couple of times in 2015. Ty Majeski, we knew he would be strong, and when we talked about it in our qualifier session, guys, we were here on Thursday night for the Super Late Model qualifiers at Rachel. I'm pretty sure you asked when we started what Ty was going to spend the money on for the fast lap. Well, 23rd tonight, maybe not as convincing at the beginning of it, but he got the job done. He's your winner tonight, and that does put day number 1 of racing, but day number 6 overall of racing, non-stop since Monday for the SARA Fall Brawl, the biggest short track racing event on iRacing all year, and well, we're almost coming to a close. We have 2 big features for you tomorrow. Before we do close things out here tonight, Rachel, final thoughts on what was a interesting super truck event at the Five Flag Speedway.
Well, it certainly was interesting. It was a bit of a caution fest. I think, as Kevin pointed out, it's the first time they've run this, and yeah, I could see that. It was. It's a tough thing to sort out, and short track racing in these trucks is difficult. You know, there's going to be incidents. There's going to be cautions. They are big. They are fast. They hold momentum. They wobble around. So it's a really, really tough situation and a tough place to have these vehicles in. But at the same time, it makes for some of the most amazing short track racing you'll ever watch. This takes things back to the old school Craftsman series sort of style of racing. Big trucks on short tracks, and yeah, there'll be bent sheet metal and bent tempers, but it's awesome. Really awesome, and tonight was a blast.
It was a little bit more physical than what we had seen earlier on in the evening, Gabriel. That meant the pit lane was busy of a lot of those various items that you had talked about earlier that they were using to get those trucks back out there. These trucks, though, they took the licks. They kept on ticking. A lot of guys finished this race. 16 total trucks on the lead lap at the end of it all. Not all of them were clean, but they made it through the end, so a lot of guys fought through adversity tonight.
Oh, yeah, a lot of these guys come down pit road throughout this race, bringing out the baseball bats, bringing out the sledgehammers, like I said. I think Tom Majeski's crew just threw them away. Apparently, every time he got the car hit, it just added more speed to it. But it was a good race overall, only one real tire pit stop for everybody. A lot of strategy, though, so it's a very good race.
And Cisco, from start to finish, we went through the SK Modifieds, the street stocks, and now the trucks are in the books. It was a good day to get racing kicked off again because there has been so much going on. Over 60 drivers competing today and tomorrow in the races. They've been racing since Monday. Main event, though, really, come on, coming up tomorrow night on LSRTV and iRacing Live. We got the Pro Late models. That's good enough to headline any race weekend, let alone 6 and 7 days of racing. The Pro Late models, followed by the Super Late models, upwards of $500 cash to go out in those two.
Yep, and it's going to conclude our back-to-back of many back-to-back races here this weekend for LSRTV. But it's just been an amazing event here down here in the SARA Fall Brawl. Just these guys have been putting on some great races for us, and looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to finish off the rest of the schedule, but it's going to be some heck of it's going to be a bunch of really awesome races.
We've been at it, I think, since all the way through Thursday night, and coverage continues. Tomorrow night, obviously, a lot of exciting stuff. We encourage you to go to livesimracing.com or facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Check up all of the info there because Monday night, the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series continues, and Tuesday, the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series returns to LSRTV for the third year running. Until next time, though, we will see you back here in Pensacola tomorrow night for the final of our 5 feature races, Pro Late models and Super Lates on tap. Until next time, on behalf of the entire LSRTV team and for the booth team tonight, myself, Evan Pasoko, Rachel Whiteford, Cisco Scaramuza, Gabriel Wood, and our executive producer, Laura Lawson, we thank every single one of you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow night back at Five Flags for the late model action. Good night.